start off with the NFC South. Is there any... Well, I mean, there's obviously a world in which it's possible. I always hate that question, and yet I went to ask it. Matt Sherry, former editor of this Here magazine, podcast and everything else, and now, king of everything, ruler of all, fancies the Panthers to be a sneaky playoff team this year. Problem is, I like the Saints defense so much that I think they're the team who push the Buccaneers, particularly considering that they're the team who have beaten the Buccaneers so regularly of late. And Tom Brady has had nothing like his normal preseason, and they've got all the offensive line issues. I can definitely imagine Tampa Bay starting slow, in which case we might have a division on our hands where a lot of people don't want to predict that.
Yeah, Matt loves Matt Rule as much as you hate Russell Wilson, so I can kind of see.
I used to love Matt Rule, and I've been talked out of it now. I like the performance of the last 18 months or so. I love Baker Mayfield, though. I'm the one person on the Baker Mayfield train, I think. So
he mentioned this to me on the phone the other day, so I knew that this was coming about Carolina. So and I do feel like Baker Mayfield's got a lot to prove. I don't know really. I mean, I think the Buccaneers are going to be good, but I actually think I just feel like their offensive line issues. There's only so long that Tom Brady can be amazing. And he's 45, 46 and behind an offensive line that's lost. If you look at the players that they've lost, Alex Kappa, you've lost the center to an ACL. You've lost the guard to a season-ending injury. Your Tristan Wirfs is banged up, might not play week one. You're looking at Robert Hainsey as a guard / center at Notre Dame playing center last season playing center. It's that's an awful lot to think about when you're going up against some of the, you're going up against a Derek Brown and a Brian Burns within your division. You're going up against all those really good players that the Saints have got on defense. Cam Jordan and Marcus Davenport, and that's a lot to ask of an inexperienced offensive line. And if Donovan Smith gets injured, then they could be in big trouble. You're expecting an awful lot from Chris Godwin coming back off the ACL. So I don't know. I think the Saints, I'm not a massive Dennis Allen fan, but I think that, or a Jameis Winston fan necessarily, but I think the transition will be okay. And I think there's a lot of star power on that offense, especially that receiving core, which looked pretty average at the back end of last season. But all of a sudden you're getting 3 new players, really. I mean, Michael Thomas having been out for almost 2 years, Chris Olave, who's such a smooth receiver out of an NFL system at Ohio State, and Jarvis Landry as a slot receiver will end up catching 65, 70 balls. All of a sudden, if Jameis is okay, then yes, there's questions. Obviously, you're replacing Teron Armstead, all those things, and your rookie left tackle got hurt and will miss the start of the season. But defensively, that's a pretty good unit. Last time I looked, Demario Davis was really good. Marshawn Lattimore's really good. They got Ty Matthew. There's some good players there. Von Bell. They really love Paulson Adebo, who's the kid out of Stanford, who they sort of tucked away last year, didn't really play a lot, but they think he's going to be a stud. So it'll be interesting to see. I think the Saints might win that division.
The interesting one for me is on that offensive side of the ball. I trust the defense almost entirely against the schedule they've got as well, but there's a lot of ifs. If Michael Thomas is healthy and looks anything like the Michael Thomas of the past, if Alvin Kamara similarly is healthy and anything like the Alvin Kamara of the past, if Chris Olave makes the transition quickly to the NFL, if Jameis Winston doesn't throw 30 interceptions this year, I feel like if 2 of those 4 at least land, then they're a playoff team and maybe a division winner as well. And I think it's not to ignore guys like Marcus Callaway, who was the hot target coming into last year, Tre'Quan Smith, who I think is very good as a 4th option as well. They've got so many options there. Taysom Hill's bound to play at tight end as well at some point. So, I really like the Saints this year outside of, you mentioned him already, Dennis Allen. Kind of feel like I want to pick them for the division, but I kind of feel like they either win the division or they miss out on the playoffs entirely. It feels like it's one or t'other with them for me right now. Am I going to do it? Kind of feel like it's safer to go for the Buccaneers, but
I'll tell you one thing that's not going to be, that's the Falcons, mate, because that roster is absolute garbage.
It's so bad.
It's one of the worst rosters I've seen in a long time.
I feel genuinely bad for Falcons fans. And I don't buy into it being the Panthers either, even though people want to think that they're getting a little bit hot on offense and they've made some trades, they've got some receivers. I'm not buying it. like a 6-7 win team.
I think
Falcons
the
will do
interesting thing
well to
about the
win 3
Saints is
games.
that if it doesn't go well with Jameis, they've got a solid insurance policy in Andy Dalton. And nobody wants to go into a season with Andy Dalton as their starting quarterback, but coming off the bench to spell an injured player or whatever, that's not a bad option to have. That's somebody that can steady the ship and can move teams up and down the field. I'm not saying he's, Bobby Hebert or Drew Brees or whoever, but he's good enough to win games in the NFL.
All right, I'm doing it. The Saints are going to the playoffs. God damn it. He talked me into it, and now I'm going to live on that decision all year long.